Good morning, everybody. We're keeping it real estate here with Gavin and Nici. Good morning.
Good morning.
And today we're going to talk a little bit about, one of my best kept secrets, and it shouldn't be a secret. I know it's been frustrating for buyers out there for a long time. We're seeing some balancing, but I want to talk about why a duplex or a multifamily home could be your best investment yet.
Okay, I'm actually very interested in this whole topic, and I think a lot of people are. It's something a lot of people have thought about. Mm-hmm. Maybe not quite jump that gun, but they've thought about. So I love that we are dedicating a moment to this for sure.
Because a lot of times on the show, Nici, as you know, we're talking about single family homes. Mm-hmm. And that's because where the biggest demand is everywhere. The spotlight's always on that. But I find that especially given the market conditions and the competition among buyers, I think a smart move is to consider, while you're maybe still considering a single family home, what are your options for a duplex or a multifamily home? Okay. Today, I think, let's keep it real about one of the smartest and most overlooked real estate opportunities. Because I think that with rising prices of single family homes and affordability challenges in general.
Yes.
Right? Groceries, gas, all the stuff, right?
Yes. My goodness.
This is maybe where your golden goose here, your ticket here to getting under contract, getting in a home and developing the wealth through home ownership. Maybe the gateway to that is the duplex or the multifamily home.
Okay.
And, just to be clear, we do have pockets of inventory of multifamily homes in the Glow region, Genesee, Livingston, Orleans, and Wyoming counties. You do all over. It just always historically has been that single family homes take the spotlight. They're more desirable. And linked to that, multifamily homes, therefore, are valuated a little bit differently. I think a lot of people think, well, it's two houses in one, so why isn't it the same price competitive with a single family home? And not that they're not always, but oftentimes they are not.
No, but as we've kind of talked, sometimes I've noticed, based on what you said, sometimes they're cheaper.
Yes, absolutely. And the reason behind that is, again, single family homes are considered at a premium. That's what most people want. Okay. So supply and demand.
Right.
That's what people are going for. Not everybody has the chops, the chutzpah, the desire to be a landlord.
Yes.
And a lot of times I think people are thinking about multifamily homes as people that are just strictly investors, which there's a flavor to that too. And investors, they are looking at their return on investment. They're not trying to buy high. They're trying to buy low or conservatively to improve the property and get the benefit from the rental income.
Absolutely.
But what about the multifamily or duplex is an owner-occupied opportunity where the buyer actually lives there and has the benefit of getting that rental income from the other unit or units to supplement the cost of the mortgage and utilities, et cetera.
Which seems brilliant.
Duh, right? I mean,
yeah.
It's just one of those things. And again, it's not for everybody. Because if it were, I think we would have zero multifamily homes available, know? And again, we have a small inventory, but they're always there. And I think it's again, just like single family homes, it's about price, condition, and location.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But I think it's an opportunity for people. So let's talk about that a little bit. A lot of times you hear people talk about house hacking. And that's what they mean when they're talking about affordability hacking. If I get a multifamily home and I'm in one unit of that and I'm an owner occupant, I can kind of house hack my way to affordability by renting out the other units and having that income. So it's kind of what we call house hacking, having that rent to offset the mortgage and the cost of the home. And it's a brilliant strategy. Tenants pay part or all of your housing costs.
I don't hate it.
I know. And the way rental income is right now, if anyone's paying attention to that.
Yes, crazy.
It's crazy, okay?
But, it's crazy for us here. Compared to, probably not. But for us, it's crazy.
When we talk about the crazy expense of single-family homes or even duplexes and rents right now, if we put that in the context of the whole region or certainly nationwide, we're still very cost-effective, and that's why all eyes are on us in this market. But I think, the opportunity here to have a tenant pay part or all of your housing costs is definitely something one might consider. No matter where you are as a buyer, a first-time buyer, maybe you're a seasonal person that you're here temporarily in the summer and then you're a snowbird. There's a lot of different options for people, and I see that people are returning to this house hacking or multifamily strategy. It's also a great opportunity as a generational opportunity. And let me unpack that a little bit.
Yeah.
Think about having space for the entire family in a house.
Okay.
Parents, in-laws, kids.
Oh,
right? People
it.
come and going, a multi-generational home, but everyone has their own space.
Yeah.
While maintaining your independence. So you're all under one roof per se, but maybe you have an in-law unit. Mom and dad are over here. You and your family are in the main part of the house, or maybe there's an upstairs unit that's somebody that's seasonal, or maybe it's the kid that comes home from college.
Which I don't hate either, but I know there are some families out there like, no way.
Absolutely. But there are some that really want that. And so we've seen a return to that. You can see in single family homes a lot of times now where you've got multi-generations under one roof, and people are seeking that in-law unit or that first floor bedroom, bathroom en suite. Yeah. And so maybe we can't achieve that through the single family home, but we achieve it through a multifamily home. That's an opportunity too. So there's a lot of examples, that, in our area where that potential income can change everything for you. Maybe the layout is not what you were bargaining for. You really had your heart set on that single family home. But I say, investigate this at the same time and see if it's an opportunity for you.
Absolutely.
Okay? Yep. So the case for investing, sometimes we do have investors out there, and I think when you are an owner-occupant of a multifamily home, maybe this is something that's a short-term solution for you. Maybe you're there a few years, you're an owner-occupant in your multifamily home, and you're renting it out, but maybe ultimately you move out of that multifamily home to move on to your dream home, the single-family home, and you maintain and you keep that multifamily property that you purchased, and you now occupy what you used to occupy with a tenant, and now you've got the income, double the income on that property. That is now leveraging that property to help you with your costs, not only on that property, but potentially your next home.
Absolutely.
Right? So, that monthly rental income is going to build equity. It's going to provide some cash flow. It's going to create appreciation, and maybe your equity pay down. Your tenants are going to help you pay off your mortgage and build that long-term wealth and stability. So whether you remain an owner-occupant or you take that property later on after you've moved out of it and leverage that for your next property, I think it's something that's really good that you should be considering.
Yeah. No, I think it's actually one of those things, too, that, a lot of people talk about when they're younger growing up, and they're like, well, this is my plan, and I'm going to do this. And then, of course, we get into the real world, and we're like, no, we want our privacy. Or
sure, of course,
we kind of move into the idea of, I don't know. I'm nervous. I'm scared. I need to really, research. And I think the idea of, especially you talking about it, is very helpful in helping to guide that potential interest.
That's right. And at least have the conversation. Again, I know not everybody's meant to be a landlord, nor they want to be.
Yeah.
But there are benefits. And one of those, among those I've already said, is the tax benefits. Mm-hmm. Because with a rental income, you get deductions for maintenance, repairs, and the depreciation of having rental income.
Oh.
So talk to your accountant about what the tax benefits are financially to you as well.
So that's an extra added incentive.
You got it. So it really might be something worth investigating if you've not considered it, right? So, when we look at the rents in Western New York, and rents in the villages like Leroy and Perry, Warsaw, certainly in Batavia, they are remaining really strong. So think about that.
Yeah.
If you've got a multifamily home and you're occupying maybe the 2-bedroom portion of it and you have a 1-bedroom apartment, I'm anecdotally and I'm witnessing and seeing people pay 1-bedroom apartments right now upwards of $1,500. And that may or may not include utilities. Mm-hmm. So if your mortgage payment is less than that on a duplex or multifamily and you're getting that from one unit, do the math. All the tax benefits added to that. Right.
I wanted to add too real quick, just because I'm seeing an uptick in this too. A lot of people purchasing properties, whether it's single or multifamily, and they're doing Airbnbs too.
Sure.
And renting it out as I guess, a vacation or staycation type of property as well.
And that's an opportunity, too, and I don't have a lot of experience in that personally to speak to that. That's what we would call and consider a transient rental. And it depends on your municipality if there are laws in place about how you can deal with transient rentals.
Okay.
So that's a whole other topic.
Ooh.
But certainly we're seeing it from a single-family perspective and multifamily, but it's a little bit of a different bird. What I'm really talking about here is long-term rentals.
Okay.
But certainly there's an opportunity there, too. And it does tie into the pros of having a multifamily and being a multifamily owner. The income, the flexibility, the tax benefits, and the quicker equity build. But let's keep it real. There's always some cons to anything when you own a property, multifamily or otherwise. Remember, there is maintenance involved.
Yes.
And you got to keep up with it. There's tenant management. You're going to get that phone call in the middle of the night. The toilet backed up, or, the light bulb needs to be changed. And let's hope you didn't choose that tenant, but you never know. You need to be there for what your needs are of your tenant to protect your property and to make for a satisfied tenant. Sometimes you had shared walls, right?
Yes.
So if you have an upstairs, downstairs scenario or a side-by-side, can you coexist together? Are those walls well insulated? You're going to hear things. And extra financing requirements when you have a multifamily. So if you are borrowing money to purchase a multifamily, you need to really speak with your loan originator and lender to see what are the options available to you in terms of financing, because it is different than financing a single family home.
Oh.
So you do need to get those answers directly from a loan originator or an expert that understands financing options. For example, when we're considering financing, FHA and conventional loans are the best options for duplex or multifamily purchases because they have low down payments if you live in one unit.
Okay.
If you are buying a multifamily property and not living in it, it's a different financial situation from the lending perspective. So for details on that, you need to really speak to a loan originator. So again, speaking as an owner-occupant, your financing options would be different if it's purely an investment property that you are not occupying.
I did not realize that there was a difference. So say you're going for your pre-approval, right?
Yep.
Before you jump into that whole world of.
Yes.
Is that something that potentially you would want to kind of put out there?
Absolutely, you must. You must have the conversation. Never assume anything, right?
Okay.
And so when you are a home buyer and you're maybe considering a multifamily home at the same time you're considering a single family home, have the conversation with your loan originator. Let's not have surprises later.
Okay.
And say, well, what would my financing look like if I'm going to be an owner occupant of a multifamily versus a single family? Or maybe I'm just in the market as an investor to finance a purchase of a multifamily to rent it out entirely. What does my financing look like? It could mean a bigger down payment. For example.
Okay.
So you've got to know those things.
Yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah. And you've got to know the local contacts. So that's why it's important to work with a local agent. Our smaller rural communities, certainly in Orleans and Wyoming County specifically, they may have fewer options on the market for multifamily homes. You don't see a lot of them. And, you do see them, but they're few and far between, that you've got really rural multifamily homes that are out in the country.
Yes.
And then you're dealing with things like septic systems and maybe well water in a multifamily. So you really need to understand what the market has and what the inventory of multifamily homes in our unique area.
Nope. Good points too about the rural areas.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a whole different world.
Yeah, it's a different world. You gotta really know what you're signing up for, and if it's a good fit for you. It might not be, but certainly a consideration. So, who are the buyer profiles of people that benefit most from considering a multifamily home? First-time home buyers. I always talk to them about it.
Yeah?
Because I find that there's going to be lower housing costs and you're going to have an income stream.
Okay.
I can give you a perfect example of a client that bought a multifamily home, a 2-unit. The client lived downstairs and rented out the upstairs unit. They were first-time home buyers. My client had a medical emergency and was unemployed for a couple of months while that medical emergency was resolved. That client was able to pay for their mortgage and not fall behind because of the rental income.
Wow. Okay.
Right?
Good food for thought right there. I like it.
Coming, but here it was, and there we were. So that, in retrospect, and a story I can actually share, that client was like, thank goodness this was my situation.
Yeah.
What would I have done? Right? Young professionals and couples often, like newlyweds, that used to be a big thing where they buy a duplex. And so while they're getting stable and adjusting to life and a mortgage and all that, it was really helpful to build wealth early and have that supplemental income from the rental. And learning a little bit about life along the way as being a landlord, right? Whether you still want to be one in the future or not. And as I've spoken about this too, I see families looking at multifamily homes for the reasons I mentioned, flexibility for relatives or adult children.
Yeah.
A lot of times that happens too. Investors in training. Maybe it's your first investment property. You don't know where to begin. You want to get into real estate. A lot of times I will find that there's an easier entry point for new investors in real estate to start with multifamily homes, duplexes, triples, and things like that. In fact, I have investor clients now that 20 years down the road, that's how they got started with investing. Now they have this portfolio of multifamily homes, and maybe now they're trying to cash in to upgrade to their dream home or their vacation home or something like that. So, I'm seeing it come full circle already. So,
nice. Okay.
And consider with the Buffalo market being ranked one of the hottest markets, Buffalo and Rochester in 2025, we have a lot of spillover demand in the Glow region. Mm-hmm. And so they're looking for rentals. I get phone calls daily for people looking for apartments out in this area because they can't find something competitive or even anything inventory-wise in the Rochester and Buffalo market. So people are making the commute from the Glow region, and so it's almost guaranteed that you're going to be able to fill that apartment.
Ooh, I like all that.
Yeah.
And you are right, though, because it is a very competitive, we're talking about real estate for sure, but I hear so much about where to find a place to rent.
That's
as
right.
a renter.
Yeah.
Where are they at?
Good luck. It's tough.
Oh my goodness. Yes. It's just as hot of a market as finding a house to buy and purchase. You're so right. It's a very competitive market all around right now.
That's right. And that's why, buying a duplex or considering a duplex or multifamily home isn't just getting under contract and getting your first home or a home. It's a financial strategy.
Yeah.
Period. It's like buying a roof for yourself and an income stream at the same time.
Yep. Absolutely.
Right? So I'm going to encourage buyers, ask about available duplexes and multifamilies when you're searching for homes. Talk to your real estate agent. Call me. I'll give you an inventory of what's available. And sellers, recognize that investors are ready to buy and compete maybe for your multifamily home that at one time maybe wasn't looking so desirable, but given the climate of the market right now and the opportunity for rental income, all of a sudden your double or your multifamily home might be really valuable, more valuable than you thought.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're curious about exploring duplex or multifamily opportunities in the Glow region, Genesee, Livingston, Orleans, and Wyoming counties, give me a buzz. Call me at 585-344-1321 because this fall could be your moment to make a really smart move. House hacking.
I like that. Oh, I like get it, move. Get it?
Yeah. No, you got it. Smart move.
I like that. I got it. All right.
You got it.
Well, thank you so much, Gavin.
Absolutely.
As always, such a pleasure having you in and just exploring the world of real estate with you has been so much fun. And of course, until next week, I hope you have a wonderful day and, of course, week.
Of course, we're keeping it real.